Hello, welcome to Dissident Canada. My name is Tyler. Once again, I will be talking about Alberta and specifically the Separatists. And man, I don't know what these guys are thinking. Like, again, I have nothing against them. If you want to try and get out of Canada, separate, absolutely fine. That is your prerogative. If I could do that, get a separation movement running in Ontario, I would absolutely do that as well. Or in southern Ontario and screw the rest of Ontario. Well, we'll probably take the north with us, but leave everywhere, you know, say the GTA and towards Ottawa. We'll just leave them behind. But that's not feasible here. And I would argue it's not feasible in Alberta. And there's a lot of reasons. I've gone over a lot of them. And a few of them don't understand that if they actually had independence, they would just really, really freaking quickly understand that they would be a vassal state of the United States, and the sovereignty and independence that they want wouldn't really exist. Or if they went against the United States, they would be a vassal state of Canada and end up exactly where they were. So I have not seen any viability of that, and that movement, whatever. The 51st state movement, well, they'd just be subjugated by the United States, wouldn't be a state. They'd have to, United States politics to like, they haven't even granted, the American Virgin Islands, American Samoa, Puerto Rico statehood. Do you think they'd like immediately grant Alberta statehood? Come on now. I mean, have you looked at the House? And let's be real. By the time this referendum happens, should it happen, you're looking at an American congressional House that is not going to favor Trump whatsoever. And then you got to contend with the Senate, which, good luck dealing with that. That has been a problem for decades. For everybody. But that's not really the thing here. Like, I don't take these separatists seriously. And it's not because I don't think their intentions are serious or their convictions aren't serious. All right? I totally believe they want the hell out of Canada. Absolutely believe that. I will take that at face value with no question whatsoever, because lots of people want out of Canada. They just can't afford to get out. For whatever reason. It doesn't really matter. But they are out there playing this game, thinking that, to win Alberta's sovereignty and to get our independence, we must first vote to separate, and then the sovereignty will come along with that, instead of, we need to control the entire province to have a proper referendum to then get the hell out. Like, these people are thinking, not, I wouldn't say ass backwards, but close enough to be ass backwards. Like, it's that close. Like, you could be like, it doesn't fit exactly the definition, but you're damn near close that people are going to understand what I'm saying when I say you are thinking ass backwards. Like, again, the premier said she would allow it to go forward, and yet one of her underlings, like, as soon as one of the petitions was submitted or whatever, was like, we're gonna immediately question this through legal channels. Like, do you think they will allow that to happen? Like, you're playing a popularity contest, all right, with no power backing whatsoever. You have no institutional power. You have no political power. You have support amongst the people, and that's fine and great. But do you think, and this is the bet you have to make, that should that referendum be fishy, and then the second vote behind that also be fishy. You are expecting that at least 30% of Albertans, right, are going to make enough noise. And when I say noise, I mean they actually have to do something, not just bitch online, all right? At the very least, protest in some way, shape, or form to force the issue. Do you think Albertans will do that? Now, considering the, let's say, political vote history of Alberta and the people who want out, I don't think so. I think they'll be like, oh gosh darn it, or at least the people in charge. They'll be pissed, but they'll do very similar to what the Conservatives do here in Canada, the Republicans in America, the Tories in Europe, and basically almost all Western conservative parties or right-leaning parties will do. They'll go, oh shucks, we'll just get them next time. Like, if you want to separate from Canada, this goes for any province or territory, all right? You need to not only have the support of the people, okay? You have to have massive institutional support and control. So think you have to have control over the judiciary in some manner, the crown prosecutors in some manner. You have to have control over local and provincial, or the equivalent of provincial police. You have to have control over the part of the election Canada that is tallying the votes and counting them so that there's an honest and fair election. And you have to have control enough of other provincial mechanisms so that you don't get sabotaged. And you need to have your team in charge. If you don't believe me, go look at what happened with Brexit. They voted to to leave the EU. And what happened? They were sabotaged in every which shape and form because they did not have Brexit people in government and in power. They won the battle, but lost the war. Like, the UK is drifting back into the EU and have been for a while. Now, we could have an election coming up relatively soon where Keir Starmer's government collapses. I would give it, 6 months to a year. It could even be faster. Like, the rate of decay will become exponentially faster and faster as time moves on. So making a prediction is very difficult. But it's on track that way. Keir Starmer's on his way up. Now, you could get people who believe in Brexit in positions of power and start cleaning house of institutions and start making the proper moves and actually cut the cord with the EU and have an independent UK. That is fine and dandy. That's great. But you can't just have the vote and expect everything to go well when you have no institutional and no political power. And having the will of the masses is sure and dandy. But people today and age, especially in Western civilizations, are put in positions where they are not yet at a point where they can afford, a month-long protest or longer. And that's assuming it goes well. Like, think about if it goes wrong and it goes Rudy Tooty Shooty. All right? That takes even more power and specifically capital than these people are thinking through. And again, God bless these people. I am right there with them. I hope they win. But I am a realist here, looking at the real politique of the situation and being like, they don't have a shot in hell. Like, the first problem they're going to have is that Smith is going to work a deal with Carney. Because, again, in my assessment of Smith, she is professional, managerial class, slightly right-leaning, all right? Slightly, ever so slightly, all right? But that background means she is almost guaranteed she is using the premiership to hit prime ministership. That is her trajectory. That is what she wants. And you can see it the way she talks. Like, just, she wants that so much. So she'll cut a deal with Carney to prevent separation. What will be that deal? Oh, I'll turn a blind eye to the mass immigration and just allow it to happen. Just allow Carney to implant, 500, a million, 15 mil, not 15 million, 15, god damn it, I can't think. That would be 1.5 million is what I'm trying to get at. I was trying to do the equivalent of 1,500, and I'm like, what would that be? Is there equivalent? Anyways, and just dilute the vote just enough, all right, so that you don't hit minimum threshold to either trigger the vote of separation or to prevent separation. Either way works. Like, what power do the Separatists in Alberta have to stop that? They don't have a premier that's going to send those people the fuck out of Alberta. No chance in hell. She's not doing it now. You don't have a premier that's actually standing up to Carney in any meaningful way. Like, where is the Alberta Tax Revenue Service? Or whatever they want to call it. Where's the provincial police that she, said was coming right away? Why doesn't she take moves to stop tax remittance or make legal challenges against Carney? Like, she has that right as the premier to sue the federal government or, go through the process to make a legal challenge. She's not doing it. Why? She ain't on your fucking team. Like, there's conservatives out there that think she's on their team. No, she's on her own team. She's got her own goals. And they do not align with you. All right? She is professional managerial class. That is her background. Please tell me how that is going to help any conservative. The professional managerial class has hollowed out the West. You can't believe how much hollowing they have done. Now, again, partially it's due to the Eurodollar, but when you get into nitty gritty, it's these people being pricks. I'm not making this video to be like, haha, you're a bunch of stupids. I'm making this video to show these people what they're missing and those steps forward. I'd love for them to move, to separate, because then Canada's going to collapse. If Alberta separates, how long do you think the Quebecers are going to stay? All right? How long do you think, Saskatchewan, Manitoba are like, oh, no, we're out. How long do you think the territories are going to sit by and be like, wait, you're telling me we can have independence? You'll have small independent movements in Northern Ontario, Southern Ontario. And when I say Northern Ontario, I mean Northwestern Ontario, because Ottawa's technically in Northern Ontario, kind of. It's north of me, is the way I think of it. But anyways, heck, you'll have a massive separatist movement in BC. If one goes, the country goes. Do you think the powers that be are going to sit around and let that happen. Now, again, maybe these people are making plans in the background and they are not sharing them with anybody. If they are, they're smart and they deserve all the gold stars and cookies that they can get their hands on. But these people seem to be working in the light, not in the shadows, and be fairly stand up and in your face about it, which, again, that's a fine tactic if you want, but with no shadow support, you're kind of screwed. And it's not like a little bit screwed. Like, you don't have a chance in hell of winning. And I wish these people would move in that smarter political operative way. But the problem is these people haven't operated in politics for the most part. Like, they're not, smooth political operators from Ottawa who, like, know which lobbyists you got to twist their arm to get shit done. And what deals you have to cut. They're just people for the most part, which is fine and dandy, but in the modern era, it's very difficult, not impossible, but very difficult for the people without political operatives and being smooth political operators and having institutional power, not just private institutional power, but public institutional power, to enact the will of the people. This is a situation that I think will be used to crush any dissent. Like, if you look at what Carney's doing, he's stringing along so far a lot of projects. No real announcements yet, just, hey, this is, we're going to do some nation building. This is what we're thinking. Maybe we do a pipeline somewhere type deal. We're going to ship natural gas to the Germans. Like, all that slow movement. Nothing's been done yet. He has not moved a piece. Like, if you're thinking of this in chess terms, all right? This is very similar to situations where, Magnus Carlsen shows up 10, 15 minutes late and then just dominates the chess match. Because in chess, like, they start at the time. If you're not there, they will move pieces. Your opponent. So you have the Albertan Separatists moving pieces, and your opponent hasn't really shown up to the fight yet. They have to move pieces, but the pieces they're moving are very obvious and telegraphing every move they're going to make. Like, to me, this mostly screams of clout chasing. I don't know if it is. I'm not in Alberta, so I can't, really do the deduction of the sentiment and of these people because I don't know the local crowd. But some of the people I've seen speak of it, they very much sound, like your political grifters moving from one topic to the other. Which is always worrying. And it looks like there's a few organizations that are there for the money grift. Being like, oh yeah, totally, we're going to get all these signatures, we're going to push the referendum, and hey man, we could really use a $5 to help out with this organization. Oh man, you're going to donate 20? Dude, that's awesome. Like, those people who are in it for the money, all right? It's very difficult to get shit done in the modern era in politics because you need a lot. You have to have a high understanding of the way politics operates, the players, and which arms you can and cannot twist, and how much pressure you can apply. It is it's not something you can pick up intuitively and understand like checkers. It is closer to a game of chess. And there's people out there being, oh yeah, 3D chess, 4D chess, and it's like, not really. You don't have those types of moves that you can make in real life. But it's not it's like thinking it as chess limits your understanding because there is no board, and there's an infinite number of pieces that can be moved. There's an infinite number of moves you can make a turn. You're not limited to one move a turn. Maybe you want to make one move a turn, hold back forces in reserve, but that's a different strategy. So it's why I think for most of this is these people are very much like the CPC. They just want to get their applause, their money, and fuck off. Because otherwise, they'd be making totally radically different moves. They would be pushing for, no, we are going to control Alberta. We are going to control the public education. We're going to control public finance. We are going to control every major institution. We are going to have our guy be the premier. We will have our guys as our MPPs. We will have our guys in city council. We'll have our guys as mayor. But they're not seeing that, which, makes me think, hey, do they want to win? Or are they, chasing the applause and the grift? Always take that into account when dealing with political movements. And maybe these people just don't understand the moves they have to make. Like, this could all, I could say, hey, they're a bunch of grifters, and really, they just are ignorant. And you can't really blame them for being ignorant, because politics is like the slimiest, scummiest thing you can get into, and to play it at a high level, you have to be a scummy, slimy person. So, I don't blame them for not wanting to do that, but if you want victory, you might want to get down in the gutters with these assholes. Anyways, that's the video for today. Tomorrow, I think I'm going to talk about, something that is seriously wrong in Canadian politics, but it applies everywhere. And it's fascinating nobody's out there really doing what I think they need to do. And it's shocking. Anyways, that is a teaser for tomorrow. Until then, have a good day.